Yo, yo, yo. Washington takes down the Eagles and wins the NFC East. This is wild. Let me tell you, there's nothing to talk about this game for. I mean, this game was mind-numbing. Everybody just wanted this game to end. Polar opposite to last year. Last year, the game was exciting. Two top teams in the playoffs looking like they could do some damage. Niners and Seahawks came down to the last play. That is how you end the season off. That was beautiful. This game was mind-numbing. It was two teams still fighting for the playoffs, but it was the NFC East and nobody cared and nobody wanted to watch this. Ah, man, that second half was brutal. But let me tell you something right now. Congratulations to Washington. You win the division. Don't know what's going to happen moving forward in terms of the quarterback situation. Alex Smith is not a long-term solution. I mean, you can just tell at this point, he's barely got anything left in the tank. You know that. And he can't move at all, obviously, because we know why. But, there's not much there. There is not much there. And honestly, the fact that they're going up against Tampa Bay honestly means it's very likely they're going to go one and done. I love that defense to death, but I don't know if they can stop all the weapons. And with the way Washington's offense is moving, I don't know if you can do anything. I mean, all you get is checkdowns on this offense. That's all Alex Smith is good for now. So it is what it is. But you know what? Hey, checkdowns helped get them to the playoffs, so it is what it is. But the story of the game is the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you right now, the New York Giants are so heated right now. You had several players on Twitter just being pissed off and disgusted by what they were seeing the Eagles do. Man, Darius Slayton and Golden Tate were looking at this like, this is sickening. This is disrespectful, man. And let me tell you why. Jalen Hurts was benched. He was playing well in the first half. They benched this dude in the second half. I believe by the end of the third quarter, they benched him. They benched Jalen Hurts. For what? I honestly don't know. He was doing well, and they just benched him for virtually no reason. It's not like he was playing like garbage. It's not like the team was trash with him there. It's not like he wasn't doing anything. They just benched him. And the Giants players are looking like, why did you bench Jalen Hurts? Giants fans. Giants players, let me explain this to you, man. You guys should know this. Slayton, Tate, you guys should know this. The Eagles hate you guys. You know that, right? The Eagles hate your team, and they don't want to see you guys prosper in the slightest. Now, they don't like Washington, but let's be honest. They would rather lose to that team and have them celebrate in their house than to watch the Giants have any level of happiness and celebration this season. You honestly think the Eagles were going to sit back and let you guys get into the playoffs? No flipping way they were going to let that happen. No way. This was a win-win for them because by losing this game, they get a better draft pick, and at the same time, they get to watch the Giants players be frustrated that their season ends like this because the Eagles tried to rely on them. And the Eagles like, oh, you really think we're going to help you? We hate you guys. So any Giants fans watching, or even a Giants player, doubt they're going to see this. You understand they don't like you and they're not going to do you any favors. Why would they do you guys favors? Why would you think they would possibly do you any favor and help you guys get to the playoffs? They hate you guys. Out of all the teams in the NFC East, they hate you guys the most. They honestly despise you guys. They're not going to do you any favors. They don't like the Washington football team. They really don't like the Cowboys to the point that it's hatred. But with you, it's just straight up pure hatred. They despise you guys. They would not do you any favors at all. Even if it means they have to have another NFC East team celebrate a divisional title in their house. They don't care. They hate you guys. And because of that, it honestly felt like they just blew this game. I mean, looking at the fourth quarter, this was just disgusting. This is disgusting football, man. You got Nate come in for Jalen Hurts. He ends up turning the ball over. Alex Smith, I believe he gets picked off. Then Alex Smith gets the ball. Next thing you know, he throws a pick back to the Eagles. Then 2 plays later, the snap is fumbled and is picked up by Washington. Like, what? Disgusting football. They did virtually nothing. Nothing in the fourth quarter. This was so embarrassing. This was a disgraceful game. Honestly, most people look at it like, yeah, the Eagles just want to finish this game off and screw the Giants over. And it's clear as day. So Giants fans and these Giants players, understand one thing. Eagles were not going to do you any favors. If you're mad, if you're heated, if you're disgusted by what you saw, there's only one person you need to be mad at. And that's your Pro Bowl tight end, Evan Ingram. See, you guys should have swept the Eagles this year. And that would have happened had Evan Ingram caught a football. If he catches that perfect pass from Daniel Jones, you get the first down. Eagles, you pretty much run the clock, and the Eagles never get an opportunity to make that comeback with Carson Wentz in that first game which you guys lost. That game is going to come back and bite you. And unfortunately, it did. You win that game against the Giants, you win the division. You will be sitting here as the NFC East champs. Unfortunately, Evan Ingram, your Pro Bowl tight end, blew that game for you, and now you guys are out. And it's so unfortunate, too, because had the Giants won this game, they would have hosted a playoff game against Tampa Bay. And let me tell you, the Giants and the Bucs actually played this season, and that game was relatively close. Daniel Jones had an opportunity to tie the game. They went for a 2-point conversion. And had they got that, that would have been very interesting. And I wanted to see that matchup happen again, and the scenario was given to us. All they needed was Philadelphia to beat Washington. But it seems like Philly was like, we saw that game you had against the Bucs, and there's a good chance you might actually be able to do something against Tom Brady and the Bucs. You guys played them well last time, so that it's possible you could play them well this time, which means you would have success in the playoffs. And the Eagles are not about to sit back and let you guys get any level of happiness and success as long as they're around. Stop it. If they're not going to the playoffs, you're not going to the playoffs. You guys always talk about how irrelevant Washington is in the division. Well, since they're so irrelevant, they don't mind losing to them. Washington's so irrelevant to all these other teams in the NFC East. Or at least that's what the fans say. Since they're so irrelevant, the Philadelphia Eagles does not mind losing to them if it means the Giants don't get in the playoffs. So that ended up being the scenario here. Now, Washington's in the playoffs. They will host a playoff game against Tampa Bay. They're most likely not winning that game. I love this defense to death, but what are you going to do with the offense? Unless all of a sudden you're going to put in Heineke and he's going to go beast mode. I don't know. But Alex Smith did well enough to manage the game through 2 picks, but did well enough to manage the game. Team somehow won this game. And, defense, they did what they needed to do. Just be happy about that. They did what they needed to do. Simple as that. So, yeah, I really don't know what the Giants were thinking. The Giants fans really think Philadelphia of all people, for all the times you have clowned and disrespected and just shown pure hatred to the Eagles, why would you think they would ever want to do you guys some favors? No. You always talk about how irrelevant Washington is in the NFC East. Since that's the case, they don't mind losing to them because they're so irrelevant that them winning the NFC East Championship in their building does not hurt them in the slightest. They're irrelevant, so it doesn't affect them. What would affect them? The Giants making the playoffs. That would definitely piss off Eagle fans, and it would definitely piss off the team. So I'm not going to look at them and think, I don't blame them for doing what they did because it clearly looked like they were tanking. I'm sorry. There was no reason to take out Jalen Hurts. We all knew there was no reason to take out Jalen Hurts, and they did it anyway. Seems like they had 2 goals in mind. 1, secure a higher draft pick. 2, make sure the Giants don't get any happiness or joy today. They're not going to the playoffs. If we can't go, you can't go. That's the mentality they had. I'm just saying, you probably should have known, something might have been up. Because think about it. Washington went down the field on a 15-play, 91-yard drive. Washington's offense did that, and you're wondering why the Eagles ended up losing this game. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. It's just, this was bound to happen. I'm not even shocked. Honestly, with all that being said, man, I honestly don't care. I don't care about the beef between Philadelphia and New York. The Eagles and Giants hate each other, but that has nothing to do with Washington. I'm just glad Washington's in the playoffs. With everything that's happened, this was needed. I told you guys, Alex Smith, a couple years back, had Washington first in the NFC East, and he was going to take this team to the playoffs. Unfortunately, he suffered that tragic accident. But then he makes his triumphant comeback. And leads this team back to the postseason. He finished what he started and took this team to the playoffs. Well, I mean, the defense pretty much did that. But hey, he did just enough to help this team get to the playoffs. So, Alex Smith, you have fulfilled your duty. You have taken this team to the postseason. Ron Rivera, in his first year, has taken this team to the postseason. For as bad as Washington has played, they did just enough. It all started with that game against the Steelers. They did just enough to just hang on and find a way to win. I told everybody Washington was going to win this division because it was just written. It was like that. It was a comeback of Alex Smith and everything Ron Rivera went through. You knew this team had his back and they were going to help their head coach get into the postseason. And that ended up being the case. So Giants fans, you can feel pissed off. You can feel disappointed. You can feel like the Eagles screwed you over because they probably did. But there's nothing you can do. Enjoy the offseason. See what you can do. Try to get some weapons for Daniel Jones. Figure it out. And we'll see you guys next season. Same for the Cowboys. Same for the Eagles. Because Washington is in the playoffs. Even if they go one and done, who cares? They made the playoffs. Y'all didn't. With that being said, that's all I got, man. And I'm out here. Peace.